What time is it? Okay, we have some fabulous live music later on, but right now, here's the kind I prefer.
What's up? This is your boy Styles here on the westcoaststyles.com YouTube channel, the OGWCR. We've got a special guest in the house today. We've got CeCe The Mamacita from 93.5 KDAY.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning. And then we also have my co-host, Big Brother Jake here. Jake, this is CeCe.
Nice to
He's
meet
been
you.
a long-time fan of yours. So we're just going to go ahead and get into this interview. Thank you for joining us. I see you're at the station, and I appreciate you taking the time. So let's just hop right into this. You know, I'm just curious, what was life like before you joined the radio? Like, what were you doing?
Well, as a matter of fact, it's kind of funny because I have been in the entertainment industry for so long. I was actually working at LATV, and it's like LATV is like a MTV for Latinos. So I was doing that before I jumped into radio. And I never thought like I would do radio, but I ended up getting hired at Wild 96.1 in the Inland Empire, and I've been doing radio for almost 17 years now.
Wow. Did you like go to school for this? I know some people have gone to like broadcasting school. Nothing?
No, a lot of my friends actually did go to broadcasting school, so I don't knock it. A lot of amazing radio personalities did. I didn't. I came from television, and they saw me doing a show, and I was offered a job. So no, I always say that I didn't go looking for radio because I had no idea. Like, I never even imagined being in radio. Like, that never even was on my radar. But I like to say radio chose me. So I've been doing it. And funny thing is when I got hired to do radio in the very beginning, I was like, okay, I got this. And then I think after a month, I was like, this is too tough for me. And I actually quit. But my program director at the time wouldn't allow me to quit. He said, give it 3 months. And if you still don't like it, then, go ahead and quit. And it's, next year will be 17 years.
Wow. You're such a pro and you're so fluid on the mic and everything. Because, you've had a lot of experience. But what was it like in the early days? Were you like flubbing a lot?
No, as a matter of fact, in the earlier days, I was actually more perfect.
Wow.
I was so perfect with my dialogue and my timing that it was actually not really good because I sounded too robotic because it was too perfect. And I remember my program director heard my breaks and said, you don't sound sincere. We're not getting like the personal feeling from you. And I'm like, well, I just don't want to make any mistakes. I want everything to be perfect. I want it to sound nice. And he said, you know what, CeCe, go on air. I'm going to allow you to mess up 8 different times on tonight. And I won't call you out on it or anything. I want you to get comfortable with being personal. And he said, the way that you sound on the radio is the way that you should speak in real life. And it's true because there's all these people that I've seen that go on air and they turn this radio voice on and now they're this and they talk like this. And it comes off as corny. And it doesn't come off as sincere. And so I was really lucky early on in my career. I had a program director that was amazing and that really wanted me to just sound normal. And the way that you talk on the streets is the way you're supposed to sound on the radio. And
did she disappear? Did we lose her?
We lost her.
CeCe, where'd you go?
It was getting good.
She was out of my life, in and out of my life. Just like that. Just like all the women, just up and
sound so fluid on the radio. That allowed me to be fluid.
We got her coming back.
It was being not afraid to make mistakes. And sometimes you guys understand, when we're talking or we're in a conversation, even in a natural conversation, you flub a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay if you do it on the radio. It sounds normal and it sounds personal.
Hold on, let me try that. 93.5 KDAY. Is that the kind of like voice that the perfect voice?
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The audio's a little.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. I don't know what's going on. You sound staticky.
Difficulties.
Oh no! It's good.
No.
Hello, Lou.
Junior, what's going on?
I
Can you hear me,
see
CeCe?
you talking,
There you go.
but I don't hear you.
Check. No.
CeCe, can you hear me? Check 1, 2.
Okay, now I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfect now. Yes.
There we go.
Okay, all right.
It
So,
happens. It's technology. It happens.
can you still do that voice, that robotic, radio voice that you had, or have you forgotten it?
No, it was very like wild 96.1 nonstop hip hop and R&B, and it like that's not the way I speak, you know. So
Yeah.
I just love that he called me out on it and he helped me. And I've always been eager to be a student and to learn. So it helped me a lot. And I'm really fluid now. And listen, sometimes I mess up on air and it's okay. Like it happens, you know, as long as it's not, it's a little bit, and you got to really like make sure that you're not messing up all the time. But you also prep, you know what I mean? You're supposed to prep. When I do my timeline news, I don't read it while I'm reading, you know, it on air. Like I look at the stories. I change some of the wording because I want to make it mine. And I would talk, like if I read a story and I'm telling you off air and I'm like, look, man, did you know that Ice Cube, Too Short, and Snoop Dogg and E40, they formed their own super rap group? That's crazy, right? That's how I would deliver it on the radio. That's how I'm talking to you. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it comes natural to me now, but I mean, I've had 17 years to do it. So, you know what I mean? Like literally.
So you started out in the Inland Empire, and where'd you go from there?
I was in Riverside for 5 years, and then I went to Las Vegas and I did radio in Las Vegas for 5 years. And then I came back to Los Angeles, and then I went from KDAY, and then I went from KDAY to Latino 96.3. And then I went back to KDAY, and then from KDAY actually bought Power 106. And when KDAY bought Power 106, they wanted me to go to Power on the morning show, and they wanted to transfer me to that station because they felt like they needed somebody that was really in the community all the time, and that was me. So they're like, you'll bring that community aspect back to Power. So I did that for about a year and a half, and I will not lie to you guys. I love Power. I love the people at Power. But it just wasn't my culture. And I kept like begging to go back to KDAY because I'm like, look, you know, born and raised in LA, I'm born into this culture. This is what I am. Like, I love Power, but it's nothing like KDAY. KDAY is my home, you know? So I came back to KDAY, so I'm here. But like, yeah, I've bounced around a couple of stations.
Awesome. Jake, you want to ask her something?
Absolutely. CeCe, first of all, I listen to you every morning. I love the show. And
my producer will like that. My producer likes that you listen to us every morning.
I've been doing radio for 20 years, so I know how it is with the whole
right.
And that voice, like, good morning this morning. You know, that's played out. And I love how your personality comes out. So
thank you.
You're welcome. With that being said, what does it mean to you to be a Latina in the second largest market hosting a morning show? You don't see that everywhere. That's like the dream of every radio personality all over that.
No, you know what? You don't.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. You know, to be a Latina in this market is so important.
Yes.
LA is, you know, over 70% Latino.
Yep.
And I have made strides where most Latinos haven't. Like, for instance, when I came back to KDAY, I was very adamant, and there was a time where you didn't hear me on the radio. When I first came back, I wasn't on the radio for a couple of weeks, and that was because I was negotiating. And they wanted me to come back, and they were like, come back and we'll negotiate. And I'm a very smart business person, so I was like, no, I will negotiate, then I will come back. And I wanted to negotiate my name in the show. I didn't want it to be KDAY morning show, or I didn't want to be the sidekick. I'm like, look, I have such a following and such a brand that I really am probably one of the like personalities that are out in the community the most.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people say that. It's just not me. A lot of people will always make a mention of that. And so I said, I want my name in the show. And they were really kind of hesitant on that. But I knew what my worth was. I knew that I'm doing a radio in LA where I'm born and raised. You know what I mean? I know this culture. This is me. There's nobody that can bring anything to the table like I can. So I had to have that confidence to really negotiate that. And I did. And now it's CeCe and Romeo. And to be honest, I am the first woman, not to mention Latina, let's just say first woman. I'm the first woman in LA to have her name on a morning show in the history of hip hop radio. So it's been done like in country, it's been done in like rock music, but for some reason, hip hop has always fallen a little behind when it comes to that. And so in the history of Los Angeles, in hip hop radio, you've never had a woman with her name leading a morning show. So that's what I did. And it's historical. And I will be honest, a lot of the people in the public don't really know that because they don't know too much what goes on behind the scenes. But I will tell you, a lot of radio personalities, females, called me up and was like, wow, you got that done. Like, that's a big thing for us as women. And I did that because I want to usher the next generation of women to come in. And I want to make sure that, you know what I mean? That's already, you know, an obstacle that we tackled so that the next generation of women, they don't have that problem. Now it's going to be easier for a woman to lead her name in a morning show because I was able to go ahead and I was able to clear that path for her.
Absolutely. Straight trailblazer. We got CeCe The Mamacita here at westcoaststyles.com. Who is the one person, past or present, that you would love to interview?
Oh my God. You know what? I would love to interview, if I could, Tupac. I was too young when, and I wasn't in radio yet when he passed away. So, that was somebody that I think we could have been homies. Like, I think Pac would have fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? For real. It's like, so I would have loved it. And plus, like, we're both Geminis. Me and Tupac have the same birthday. So I'm like obsessed with Pac.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
What's your scariest on-air moment?
I'm sorry?
What is your scariest on-air moment?
Oh my God. Okay.
We've all had them.
I did a club the night before. So I was in club mode. And my program director came in to tell me something. And I was like, hold that thought. I'm about to crack the mic. I got to do a break real quick. He's like, okay. I don't know what happened in my brain, but in my head, I was still at the damn club. And I was like, wow, 96.1 nonstop hip hop. And I'm being this motherfucker. And I said it on air. And I died. I looked at him. Thank God my program director is so cool that he was like, yo, if the FCC calls us, then I'm going to have to fine you. But if we don't get a phone call in like 3 days, you should be cleared. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And never happened. Thank God. He was so cool, but I made sure to never, ever do that again.
Which station did that happen at?
At Wild 96 at my first one.
Okay.
I know, right? Who does that? Oh my God.
I've done it too. I've worked in sports talk radio for like 18, 20 years, and I've actually done the same thing. So I get it. It's the scary.
It
happens. The dump button though. So we were good.
Yes, yes.
Their dreams and all that stuff. So
right.
For all the young women of color trying to come up in the radio game, what advice would you give them?
Know exactly what you want. I think that a lot of women reach out to me and they want advice, but sometimes I feel like they want it handed to them, and it's not going to happen that way. You have to know what format you want, you know, what you like, and really do it. And if you want to do news, entertainment, then study the news, study your delivery, study your tone, study your inflections, your enunciations. If you want to do DJing and radio, you know what I mean? Listen to your favorite station and really pay attention to the songs that they play and the artists that they play. You know, I'll get somebody that wants to DJ for KDAY and they'll send me like, you know what I mean, music for Power 106. And I'm like, do you even listen to our station? You know, so you have to pay attention to the craft and you really have to do your research, because there's a million people doing, you know, that want to do radio, but only a few stand out. And that's because it's really not the way they look. It's really how they know their craft and they study and how they present themselves. So I always tell people, like, if you want to do this, like, know your craft, know the boards. I know how to do the board work. I'm really good in editing. You know what I mean? I can edit my phone calls. I've done it all where I've had to really like kind of co-produce my own show. Thank God I have a producer now. But at some point, you know what it is. You know, sometimes you got budgets and stuff and you got to do your own. So I've done my own, you know, my own board work. I've done my own editing. I just recorded my own commercials right before I called you. I had 2 commercials I had to do. So I'm a very hands-on person. I've never wanted to be looked at or even perceived as the female that just sits behind the mic and doesn't do anything. I'm too much of a control freak to, to really let anybody be hands on. And my producer can tell you, like, I am very heavy hands on. Sometimes he has to tell me to back off. He's like, I got it, CeCe, because I know how I want to sound. I know how I want my show to sound. I know how I want us to reflect in Los Angeles. So, I would just say, know your craft. Try to network as much as possible. And I know it's hard because of the pandemic right now, but you can also network via social media. But also too, like, know what have your rundown too of what you want to do. Because I have a lot of people that will ask me questions, but they have nowhere to start. They're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, are you going to school for it? Have you practiced recording? No, I know. I just know I want to do it. Or I get the, everybody tells me I have a radio voice. And I'm like, oh, okay. First of all, anybody watching, please do not ever DM me with that, because I will literally roll my eyes at your message.
Yes.
I cannot stand when people say that. I'm like, dude, shut the up. Like, I have so many people that are like, oh my God, everybody says I have a radio voice. And I'm like, really? Do you have the skills to edit and to really like sit there and work the boards, and do you know the culture of what you're trying to even promote? So yeah, I don't like that. Sorry,
Wow.
I don't even know why I said that, but that just ran into my mind.
No, I hear you, because when people hear, oh, you've worked in radio for so long, well, I wanted to do it, but I don't know how, but I have a voice. It takes more than that, and that's exactly what you said. You hit it on the head with that.
Yes.
For me, you're making moves inside and outside of radio. You got business going on, the lashes and all that. I see you. I follow you. So and they're popping too. What's your next step in your career? You have an amazing career so far. What's your next step?
You know what? I think I want to go more into television.
Mm-hmm.
I did a show on Fox, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
It wasn't my particular forte, wasn't my taste of what I wanted. So I ended up leaving the show because I really wanted to deal with, whatever I want to do. I know that I want it to be, in LA. I want to really focus on the culture of Los Angeles, because that's where I live and the community I care about. So I think television, but somehow, like, I still want to make it like cultural.
Yeah.
I have something in the works right now that I am working on, but it's the early stages of conversation right now. So I just will cross my fingers and let's see if it happens. But television is probably where I'm going to go to next. And I want to go behind the scenes too. I don't think I'm ready for it yet, but because I still love being behind the mic, but I think eventually my calling will be to be a producer behind the scenes and produce TV shows.
Absolutely.
Wow. Nice.
I would love that.
Okay.
Nice. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're at work right now, so we really want to just thank you for being our special guest today. Before we end, can you end us with a shout out for the website westcoaststyles.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
Yes.
Yo, it's your girl CeCe 93.5 KDAY. Make sure you tune in every single morning. I got to go ahead and shout out my family at West Coast Styles. They are doing it big. Make sure you tap in.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. And I want to say something really quick to people that are watching. Support your local small businesses, support your Latino businesses. Here's the thing. You've got a lot of people in Los Angeles, and there's a lot of Latinos here, but unfortunately, we don't have the representation. Sometimes it's the representation that we need. And so when you see your local radio personalities, such as myself, or your TV personalities, even your podcast personalities, when you see them supporting small businesses or going out there in the community, pay attention to that and let that be a mental note, because there's so many people that are in this industry to take and not give. And I see it a lot of people. So pay attention to who's speaking up for your community and who's not. And those are the people that you should be supporting, the people that are willing to give back to you. And that's all I want to say, because I noticed it a lot. I try to utilize my platform, especially for Unity, my community, for Latinos. I'm always trying to tap in and to utilize my platform for our community, because we don't have that representation, and we're not going to have it unless we all do it together. So everybody watching, please do your part, repost, bring some awareness. We need to do that because we lack representation, and that's only because we don't do it. I'm trying to do it, and I'm trying to get everybody else to do it. And I have a little bit of a following that has been reposting and doing stuff. And I just want to support, our mom and pop shops, especially through this pandemic. You have to understand a raza that has their small businesses, and if they lose it, they're not going to get it again. They're not. It's just, and it's all about generational wealth, and it's about our generation and really passing it down to our future. So please support small businesses, small Latino businesses, and anything in the community. Post about it and speak about it. I don't care if you have 15 followers, 10 followers, or 100,000 followers. Somebody will pay attention to your post. That's all.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you once again. And I really appreciate you. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Yes,
and we're out.
I'm still working.
Yeah.
Keep entertaining LA, CeCe.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
What time is it? Okay, we have some fabulous live music later on, but right now, here's the kind I prefer.